Questions and comments. The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Government House Leader.
Yes, Madam Speaker, the member opposite, like all Conservative members, they sure do have those slogans down packed. I'll give them that much. You know, I believe that they likely already have the bumper stickers printed to match the slogans, in fact, Madam Speaker. The question I have for my friends across the way, and that thirst and hunger for power, have they given any thought in regards to why not working for Canadians today until the next election happens to come? Why not look at the issues that Canadians are facing today and start being a little bit more proactive in allowing legislation, for example, to advance to the committee stage? Even legislation they support, Madam Speaker. They are so focused on the Conservative Party and their leader, they've lost their focus on Canadians. The question is, why?
Honourable Member for Fundy Royal.
Madam Speaker, the Honourable Member can't be real. We come here, Conservative members of Parliament come here every day and fight for a better Canada, fight for their constituents. And what our constituents are telling us, Madam Speaker, they can't afford any more years of this government. They can't afford skyrocketing crime. They can't afford groceries or heat or their mortgage or their rent or to put food on the table. Madam Speaker, the worst inflation in 40 years, 2 million people attending at food banks. Madam Speaker, Canadians can't afford another second of this Liberal government.
Questions and comments. The Honourable Member for Beaupré, Court d'Orléans, Beauport, Côte-Beaupré, Orléans-Charlevoix. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like to thank my colleague for their speech, which reminds us how difficult the situation is for many people in Quebec and elsewhere in Canada. And I'd like to have my colleague's opinion if there were a Conservative government, which they're expecting with great hope. I'd like to know if they would be open to reviewing healthcare transfers that are given to the provinces, particularly to Quebec. We know that Quebec racked up $11 billion deficit, including $6 billion from the fact that the federal government probably didn't pay the healthcare transfers. So I'd like to know if a Conservative government would be more open to taking on its federal responsibility, i.e. paying adequate healthcare transfers to provinces.
Madam Speaker, I thank the honourable member for her question. A new Conservative government is going to be focused on improving the livelihoods and the lives of all Canadians. We have to end this government's misuse of taxpayers' dollars, this waste that we see. When we have waste in the system, when we have scandal in the system, there is less money to go around for the services that we so cherish as Canadians. So this is why we're going to stop the crime. We're going to fix the budget, build homes. We're going to axe the carbon tax. We're going to axe the carbon tax so Canadians can afford to live again. That's the focus. That's what we're talking about. And that's the focus of a new government that's going to be there for Canadians.
The Honourable Member for Port Moody Coquitlam.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And again today in committee, the corporate coalition of the Liberals and the Conservatives teamed up to make sure that the contract flipping was not addressed in committee today. The week before, they teamed up to make sure that Canada's largest corporate landlords didn't have to come to committee to be accountable to Canadians.
Wow.
We know that the Conservatives continue, just like the Liberals, to wine and dine the corporate elites in Canada for fundraising purposes. So my question to the member is, why do the Conservatives to continue to support the Liberals to protect their corporate landlords in committee?
Member for Fundy Royal.
I think the honourable member is missing the point of the debate today. Conservative Party is calling for non-confidence in this House, that this House does not have the confidence in the Prime Minister or in the government. Everything about this government is wrong because it's not putting the people of Canada first. It's selfishly and with much greed, taking more than they should, taking too much from taxes, making it too difficult for Canadian families to make ends meet, to punish good things like going to work, raising a family, driving your kids to sports. All of that is punished in Justin Trudeau's Canada, and that's going to change under a Conservative government.
Mention members' names in the House. Can I remind the honourable member that we do not use members' names in the House?